4-0. Should we even go there? Well, it's right in front of Florida State on Saturday. Yes, 3-0 is in the bag. 4-0 is next. And it's Boston College in Tallahassee.
Don't
preview. Yes. Let's talk it. 4-0. All right. Everybody excited about 2022? We will look ahead to 23 as well, and more commits coming in on Florida State Seminoles Live, right here at the Voice of College Football. Up top, next to me, Jason Parker, NBC6, Logan Robinson, Noel Game Day. Boys, how we doing?
We're doing great. I feel like we need to address the elephant in the room one moment. We almost had tragedy strike on the Florida State Seminoles Live before the 177th edition with MarkRogersTV, the Voice of College Football. Our dear, faithful boy man himself, Logan Robinson from Noel Game Day, almost got murdered today on the practice field, according to, for those of you who follow him on Twitter, at Logan's Twitty.
I missed this.
Logan, why don't you explain how you almost got decapitated on the practice fields outside of Bobby Bowden Field?
Yeah, I like to stand up close to the as far as I can. Usually, sometimes the SIDs will pull me back, but I like to get very close to the sidelines there. And they were just going through some scout team stuff, and the starting defense was out there, and I was behind the yard marker guy, that 10-yard marker guy, whatever you want to call him, behind him. So I had a little bit of some comfort there and not having to worry about someone coming at me full speed. But sure enough, running back takes a run off to the outside, and DJ Lundy's flying full speed ahead at him. So we're talking 240 pounds, DJ Lundy. And is flying right at me, but I'm like, oh man, there's someone in front of me. He's going to turn for sure. Sure enough, that yard marker guy has done this before. He has talent, he has experience, and he knows exactly what to do. And he juked out of that like split second. And so it's just DJ Lundy, number 46, coming at me full speed, sweaty. We're at the end of practice there, and he's coming right at me, and he pops me and brings me with him. I didn't fall or anything. He grabbed me with him. Very nice, looking out for me over here, being a nice guy. He grabs me so I don't fall down, but we get a nice little pop. Here we are. Hope you're having a good day kind of situation there. And so that kind of woke me up to where, like, oh, I can't play football anymore. Like that's kind of what I learned from it. Because I thought for a second, because I only had 1 second to think. I had 1 second, literally 1 second. Like, do I stay here? Or do I like skedaddle? And I'm like, nah, we're going to stay in the paint. Whatever happens, happens. But luckily, DJ Lundy grabbed me, and we both did not fall. Thank God. Lord, oh God, could you imagine if he would have fell and like I went down with him, and this would have been horrific.
So for all our female viewers who like the boy man himself, Logan Robinson from Noel Game Day, are you okay?
Oh, yeah. No, I loved Twitter's response of immediately asking if DJ Lundy was all right. Don't worry about me, the guy that was in pads, a helmet, 240 pounds, linebacker, also state champion in wrestling. Don't worry about me, really. But, DJ Lundy, yes, I can promise you I did not lay a scratch on him. But it was one of those first experiences where I've had like a football come by me, or I've caught a football, or I've had like a wide receiver fall in front of me, but not full force, full speed right at you.
My other question real quick is, are you going to be dumb enough to be that close to the field again next
I will do it again. Yeah, okay. I will do it next Tuesday. I will do that next Tuesday.
I don't know if it's so much that he's dumb standing that close to the field. If we can take Logan's description, he chose to stand in there like
did.
He could have been that close, but he said he saw this developing. He could have failed.
But it was like one of those things, like you can't move out of it either way, and it's just a part of covering football. But I do like being up close because I want to hear things. There's things that we can't report on, but it's nice to have just like taking the full experience and be there on the sideline. Shout out to Coach Norvell. He does a great job allowing the media to be there and be present throughout those entire practices. But I want to take advantage of those opportunities, be as close as I can. And I learned my lesson quick, and I will go back and do it again, though.
What position did you play in high school, Logan? I'm sorry, I forgot.
I did my senior year. I did play fullback and tight end.
So you should.
We weren't the same size, though. We weren't the same size.
That's fine. I mean, you were Charles Timberwolf. That's fine, but you should know how to make a quick decision. Is my point.
I will say he had a really good head start on me. I think I had I think I had my phone in my right hand, just enjoying the play happen. I was like, dang, DJ Lundy's really crashing down on this running back. He's doing, oh, wait, he's coming. Oh, here he's right here. And I just gave up.
So he crashed down to the sideline.
Yeah, the trainers were laughing at me. I had his sweat all over me. It was like, yeah, it felt good. Felt good to get a pop a little bit. It's football season, is what it is.
I in no way am questioning DJ Lundy's, integrity as a person, being just a genuine nice guy to do everything you just explained, Logan. Hold you up, that whole thing. But I'm also thinking maybe that the Logan Robinson celebrity status was part of that.
I will tell you what, DJ Lundy, nice guy. He was smiling after I said thank you. Thank you for not killing me. First of all, I couldn't imagine a helmet coming right through me there. I didn't have any protection, but one of those experiences I'll never forget.
I feel like you should bring him on one of your podcasts on No Game Day. We should get a airing out and see get his side of the story.
We should just string this on throughout the whole entire season, and then who knows, next week he might do it again and come right for my head.
Oh, if you don't think I'm going to embarrass you in the press box come October 1st, you've got nothing coming. Please believe that.
Great. Wonderful.
Oh, that's happening. Absolutely.
Well, Logan, he lives on another day. He's still with us. It's good to know. Logan's still actually walking in the whole thing, too. It's good.
Well, we haven't seen him.
Hold on.
We haven't seen him walk yet, so I don't know. I mean, he could
I do have. I'm already injured from last night. We had a city league softball, and I tried a little too hard, and so I have a big time strawberry burn on my knee right now. So I'm gonna say that was the cause for me not being able to cut away from DJ Lundy. That was my cause for not being able to move quick enough.
You're getting older, Logan. Trust me.
Yeah,
it gets worse.
I'm gonna feel it tomorrow.
So for as much as we want to talk about the win against Louisville, look ahead to BC, of course, and bask in the 3-0 start, likely to be 4-0. I don't want to jump too much. I got nothing to lose by saying that.
Mark, don't jinx it.
Okay. All right. That said, we're going to look ahead to 2023, and one Blake Nicholson, talked about him in recent weeks, top 11 linebacker in the country out of California, and he has committed to FSU, Logan.
Big time commitment. Here's something that Florida State had been working on for a good long while. Obviously, Oregon heavily in the mix there. I know you saw the UCLA hat there, but this was specifically between Florida State and Oregon. And I think the biggest shout out that I'm going to give it to is Derek Ray, Florida State's newly added on off the field staff member, a general manager is his title. Derek Ray did a really good job with this commitment, and there's a lot of things off the field that he was doing there with the family. They were there for a 4 or 5 day stretch over the off season, and it seemed to work out pretty well. I think during that time there where Florida State had him on campus, they were doing photo shoots. They had him come visit the practices. They were showing him around campus, yada, yada, yada. Brought him to events. Like throughout that whole week there that he was spending, it felt like Florida State took the lead. And the way they kept on to it, and it's something we talked about all this offseason, win football games. It's about as simple as it gets now. If you win football games, you're going to put yourself at where you're coming in second place with these high targets to now you're in first place. And so, Oregon tried to push there at the end. They had an unofficial visit with him coming in, Dan Lanning's very, very, very well respected there on the defensive side, and that linebacker room, what he's been able to put into the league is ultra impressive. But I think going over to Randy Shannon, Derek Ray, and obviously Mike Norvell, Adam Fuller, what they're able to do to bring a guy over from the West Coast into Tallahassee is a big time move, and it's a much needed thing, much needed player in that position group moving forward. That is a talented linebacker that Florida State hasn't been able to land a talented linebacker like that in a couple of years, if not years and years. So a nice pickup there for Florida State, and a shout out to Derek Ray.
Yeah, you talk about Ray on this one, but also I think you got to give more credit to Randy Shannon. I think this was a Randy Shannon. He went out there, he got the move, and he would bring in linebackers from California when he was at the University of Miami. He's known for doing this. But you're talking about a 4-star linebacker. We're talking about 6'3", 200 pounds as far as size. Right now, the only linebacker in the genuine linebacker position is probably Amari Gaynor, who can match him in that size right now. So he's a bigger linebacker. He's got speed. There's a lot of people who you mentioned it, Logan. There were a lot of people who thought he was going to go to Oregon. So I think it's kind of a surprise that he's ended up at Florida State. But I think this is just the start for what we've seen from Randy Shannon. And once again, you talked about last week, you gave Randy Shannon props. I think we're going to continue to give him credit. He is turning around that linebacker room.
So for Florida State to get a top player out of California, was there any kind of connection there?
On the off the field stuff, it was Derek Ray. He did a good job developing a relationship with Blake, and then along with the family too. He did a really good job at Florida State, setting up accommodations to make them feel at home. And I think that was a big thing for the family. Definitely, mom, of just when your kid is going that far away from home, there's someone's got to be there that's reliable and trustworthy. And Derek was that, and like Jason said, Randy did a good job there. And then on the football side of things, really more on Randy's part, you're seeing the development of those linebackers and the impressive play we've seen so far from Kalen DeLoach. We've seen it a ton from Tatum Bethune being where he needs to be and understanding his assignments when it comes game time. And then, DJ Lundy, those they've had an impressive start to the season, little iffy. And that last game, you had multiple times where Kalen DeLoach came away and almost grabbed Malik Cunningham for multiple tackle for losses or sacks, but just couldn't get there. But, I think seeing the improvement to start off the season linebacker room and winning games and the relationships, it all combined into becoming a commitment to Florida State, where I think Florida State doesn't have to worry about a guy decommitting with this one. I think he's fully stuck into this, and it's kind of over the whole recruiting process, in my opinion.
And I think, Logan, I agree with what he said 100%. If you're coming from Manteca, California, to commit to something in Tallahassee, Florida, you want to commit to a program that's going to win. So Florida State started off the year 3-0, heavy favorite coming up this week against Boston College, heading up the first month of the season undefeated. Okay, it looks like Florida State may, and once again, I don't want to put the cart before the horse, may be starting to turn that corner. So that's why you're going to start to see a lot of guys that maybe last year, 2020, 2019, Florida State didn't have a shot with, who Florida State is going to pick up. And there's another one that could commit, commit on Friday.
Yeah, so we're talking about one top 5 wide receiver in the nation, Hakeem Williams. So tell us something about him, Logan.
Yeah, this is a very talented wide receiver that Florida State has built a relationship with. Talking about, going back to Blake, Florida State seems to be a pretty, I don't know how to say it, a pretty tactical coaching staff so far on the recruiting trail with building these relationships. And Hakeem is one of those guys, if not the biggest. I mean, Hakeem has had Florida State up there for a very long time. I mean, he's not a guy that has pushed them away and then brought him back in type of thing. He's gone and done his visits. He has a really nice relationship with Mike Norvell, Ron Dugans, and the rest of that coaching staff off field too. And Dennis Ratliff to a kind of a new addition to Florida State's off the field staff, joining Ryan Bartow on the other side. Hakeem, it's going to come down. It was always going to come down to wins, in my opinion. And this was the number one guy we kept on talking about. If you go down there and you win games that you're supposed to win, definitely that game at LSU was a huge one, right in front of his face, showing, hey, we need playmakers there, because there were some drops in that game too. And, I'm sure Mike and Ron Dugans and the rest of the coaching staff are saying, yeah, this team, our quarterbacks can throw, and we need playmakers. And Hakeem Williams fits that perfectly. It's down to Texas A&M and Miami here. I think it's a closer battle between Texas A&M and Florida State right now. Pittsburgh's still somewhere in there, but I think, with Kenny Pickett being gone, and I always forget his name, but now over there at USC, who was a baller last year at wide receiver, those two being gone, you see Pittsburgh kind of struggling there on offense. It's going to come down to Florida State and Texas A&M. I think Florida State feels very good on their side right now, from what I've heard earlier this morning. On their side, they feel good, and you can always say that. I know, usually some other teams do, but this one, it seems like Florida State's put themselves in a great spot. It came down to winning games and winning that big one at LSU. I think some things went well. And he did recently just visit Texas A&M. I was told that enjoyed the experience. He thought it was impressive. Definitely the atmosphere there and College Station, I'm sure, and that stadium is a good time there. They were facing Miami, a primetime matchup. But it seems to be like Florida State's got some kind of edge right now heading into his commitment at 2:30 on Friday.
1:30 on Friday. NBC6 will be there, so make sure to pay attention to that.
Really?
And by NBC6, I mean me.
Very nice.
He's a 6'3" target, and he's the number 2 player in South Florida as far as 24/7 is concerned in the Dade, Broward, Palm Beach area. So he's the best of the best in what I would say is the best area for high school football recruiting in the nation. 6'3", 200. He's the thing about him is that he could have gone from Stranahan, which is not a traditional powerhouse program here in Broward County, could have transferred to St. Thomas Aquinas, could have transferred to American Heritage, could have transferred to Cardinal Gibbons. He's choosing to stick with Stranahan. I'm hearing things a little bit differently than Logan. I'm hearing that obviously Logan said it's a toss-up between A&M and Florida State. I'm hearing these being pulled in 3 different ways. Obviously, A&M being right now the bigger name program at this point, obviously coming off their big win over Miami. They also have a bigger bag, if you will. So they've got him on bag alert. His family wants him to stay in Miami. He's a South Florida guy. They would like him to stay at home. His best friend plays for Florida State. So that's the question. And Florida State has tried to play that card. And when he took his trip to Tallahassee, he was raving about Florida State. He was raving about being able to play with his friends, play with people he knows from the South Florida area. So if you're telling me to bet money, I'd probably say A&M is the favorite at this point, but I would not be surprised if he ends up staying in state at either Florida State or Miami. I just have that feeling like there's going to be a surprise come Friday. Not Pitt, not Alabama, not anyone else, but I think it's going to be either Miami or Florida State.
Yeah. You got it. I mean, you're looking at Johnny Wilson, Ontario Wilson, Malik McLean, how they've impressed to start out this year so much better than what we saw last season, already beating some of the stats that we saw all throughout the entire season in 2021. I think that helps it too. I think Florida State right now, in my opinion, has a lead. It's on Wednesday at 6:21. So with these kind of commitments, you got to watch every 30 minutes and see what's going on and hit up any kind of sources you have. But right now, I think Florida State's put themselves in the right spot. They'll come away with a win too on Saturday. There's my prediction there. Just go ahead and get that out of the way. Florida State will beat Boston College this weekend. But
Logan,
that will add on, even though he's committing on Friday. That will only just add on to a little extra more fun on Saturday, which will be an 8 p.m. kickoff. But I think Florida State's in a great spot here. It's going to come down to Texas A&M and Florida State, in my opinion.
And Logan made a good point before we went on. Whoever he commits to, the recruitment will not stop. Pitt's not going to stop recruiting him. If he doesn't commit to Miami, Miami's not going to stop recruiting him. If he doesn't come to Florida State's not going to stop recruiting him. So I think to go along with what Logan said, you also have to look at the quarterback situation. Like he said, Pittsburgh is one of the finalists. They don't have a solid quarterback room at this moment. A&M's quarterback room has question marks. I think Miami is going to lose Tyler Van Dyke after the season. I think he goes pro. So that's the question. Does Florida State provide at least some stability in what's left after, what does Jordan Travis do after this year? But you have A.J. Duffy, who looks like he's going to be here for a while. You have the comeback man himself, Tate Rodemaker. I mean, at this point, you almost would have to say Florida State has the most stable linebacker room at this moment. Or excuse me, a quarterback room at this moment.
Yeah, I would back that up. Although Texas A&M, they're having an issue trying to decide who their quarterback is, and maybe Haynes King's not the answer. He obviously got benched in favor of Max Johnson. They got a 5-star, though, in Connor Weekman, who is supposed to be, he's a 5-star. So they've got an unproven room to a certain extent, but Max Johnson did throw 27 touchdowns last year, and they do have Connor Weekman as a 5-star.
I mean, I don't know why Williams wouldn't want to go to Miami. I mean, that offensive showing that they put up against Texas A&M, that was a great show. 27 first downs, almost 40 yards of offense. and 3 field goals. Got it. Yep. The U is back. Got it. And for all you Miami fans who want to talk about it being a quality loss, stop. Stop with that argument. You lost. You didn't score a single touchdown on national TV in your biggest game in your first road test. Stop. Take the loss. Take it like a man. Move on.
Yeah, the play calling and execution in the red zone was not good. What was good in regards to execution was our post-game show after Louisville. Thanks to these two, we had Jason right out of the gate doing post-game with us. Right out of the gate, Jason's here. We're breaking it down. Jason takes off, and then bam, Logan shows up.
Logan was sober enough? Good.
Yes.
1 a.m. I think it was around like 12:30.
Yes.
Yeah.
You did a what? What
Great, a little.
We've talked about this. The last time you did a 1 a.m. post-game show, you were drunk as a skunk.
I was at home. I had to cover the game, so I was at home the whole night. So I was like, let's just get some workout as much as possible. And
helping me out. Love it. Right. It's great stuff.
But yeah, no,
that was. Check the views on that baby. I bet it popped pretty well.
Mm-hmm. So I have a question for Logan Robinson from Noel Game, because we talked about it. I talked a little bit more in the post-game show presented by Popeye's Chicken that I'm sponsoring your post-game show now. So we talked about a little
waiting the Venmo, PayPal, or Cash App. One of the 3 works. Any one of them.
I'm still waiting for our money from you. So anyway, moving on. We'll call it even at this moment. So, Logan, we talked about a little bit about the post-game show. Obviously, the injury to Jordan Travis in the second quarter. He comes back out onto the bench, has what looks like a little bit cast on his left ankle and whatnot. And immediately the concerns start coming into play for Florida State fans. Is Jordan Travis done for an extended period of time and whatnot? And yes, let's give Tate Rodemaker credit. He started off very slow, and I think there were a lot of people who thought, oh, my God, here's our first loss of the season. But he came out in the second half. Him and Johnny Wilson became best friends, and Florida State gets out of Louisville with a 35-31 win. Mm-hmm. And I think there was a lot of concern about what the future would hold for Jordan Travis. Would he be out 6 weeks? Would he be out until the bye week and whatnot? But then I look on the depth chart this week that was printed out on Monday for Florida State. And if we take a look at the depth chart, at starting quarterback from West Palm Beach, Florida, number 13, not Dan Marino, but Jordan Travis. Logan, please address this for a moment, because if Jordan is healthy enough to play, I say play him until you get a comfortable lead, then sit his butt on the bench, because we're going to need him more for Wake Forest, NC State, and Clemson than we will for Boston College. That being said, is he being listed as a starter more as a ploy to maybe throw off Boston College, or do you legitimately see Jordan Travis starting this Saturday against BC?
I think it's definitely going to be a game time decision for this. And we've seen Mike Norvell do this before, where he will put stuff on a depth chart, and you go and look at Saturdays and during warmups. That ain't the same as that depth chart. And there's guys that we saw go down. There was a handful of them that went down. One thing that I'll put out here right now is that I can almost fully confirm a lot of those injuries, no season-ending injuries for Florida State after that Louisville game, which is a really good thing. Really, really big thing. That was my biggest concern. It was great. You get the win on the road. I mean, that was fantastic win. Jordan Travis goes down, but you were so worried about the injuries afterwards because there's a long season ahead where we're just getting started. So, but for Jordan Travis, I think it's going to be a game time decision. To me, I'd like to reverse it around. I'd like to throw Tate Rodemaker out there, let him go out there and start. And if things start going backwards, which they shouldn't, because you can run that run game as much as you want against Boston College for what it seems like how they started their season. Throw Tate Rodemaker out there first. If things aren't going well, then you throw Jordan out there if you need to. But you're hoping that you can have Tate Rodemaker be out there, and then you eventually throw AJ Duffy out there to get his first true action. I know he had a little bit of some action against Duquesne, but a good little bit of the fourth quarter for AJ Duffy would be nice, much needed for him. But Tate showed us that, hey, maybe I just needed to clear all of that nervousness and mental stuff, because I think it's all mental for him. I think he's smart enough, and he's got the physical attributes, as we all have known since he's arrived at Florida State. One of the most athletic players on the team. The kid can do a friggin' backflip for what his size is, and he can throw a bomb 60 yards down the field and be right on the money. And he can manage a game down the field and get to his running backs. So I would like to see Tate Rodemaker start if Jordan Travis is not fully 100%. I don't think there's any reason to have risk of Jordan Travis going to a game against a crappy Boston College team, and then on the third series or so something happened worse to his leg or ankle, whichever was fully injured against Louisville. And then you screw yourself for the Wake Forest game, which has a potential to be, if Wake Forest goes and beats Clemson or makes it close or whatever, you have a potential big time, and you have a big ACC matchup. College game day could come here. You want to keep him fully healthy as much as possible for JT. So I like to reverse it. Throw Tate out there. Things aren't going well, or you're not scoring, or something's off. Then okay, then you throw JT out there, just because that also switches up how Boston College is going to play the defense there. Because they know Tate's not going to be a loser. He's not going to run around. I know he got the first down in Louisville, but that's not going to be. It's not JT-esque. He's not going to have that time.
I do agree with you that, and in the sense I'll say this: Tate Rodemaker can beat Boston College. Tate Rodemaker cannot beat Wake Forest, NC State, or Clemson. And I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer. That's just a fact. He cannot beat them as starter right now.
Well, it's not a fact. It has yet to happen. I get your point.
In my strong opinion,
it's not a fact.
In my strong opinion, and in the opinion of many
Sure.
of the Florida State fan base and those who cover Florida State.
Who? Wait, what happened?
Tate Rodemaker can likely not beat Wake Forest, NC State, or Clemson as starting quarterback.
Okay, well, I'll do Boston College he can, but not after.
Right, that's what I said. Boston College he can. The other three he likely cannot. So I agree that it is important to keep Jordan safe in that situation. Yeah. My concern with that, about what you said, is start Tate, and if it gets close or if Florida State's trailing, then you put Jordan in there. I feel like that would destroy Tate's confidence for the rest of the season, and I think it's been made very clear that he's the number 2 option at this point. So that's why I would say keep Jordan as the starter. If we come out guns blazing, 21-0, or let's say he's safe, it's 28-7 halftime, lock Jordan in the locker room, get him some pizza, get him some cold beverages, maybe get him a couple co-eds, whatever you got to do, just to keep him off the field at this rate, and let Tate handle the rest of that time. Because I think you're absolutely right that you need Jordan if you want a shot to beat Wake Forest, NC State, or Clemson. Because right now, Florida State is setting themselves up to be in a very, very good spot. Florida State is setting themselves up, if they can beat Boston College this week, you're 4-0 heading into the month of October. And I don't think a lot of people outside of the most biased Florida State fan thought we would be 4-0 entering the month of October. I thought we'd be 3-1. I think there are a lot of people who thought we could be as bad as 2-2 at this rate.
The only reason they're 4-0 right here, Jason, is because they've been hitting the like button on the show. Look at that transition.
You know what?
That's the only reason.
Do it.
That's the only.
You are right. Go for it.
That's the only reason. Only 26 likes, though, and 115 on it, looks like, on YouTube, though. Hit the like button, and every time people hit the like button, Florida State keeps on winning. And I think it's every time this live stream goes over 100 likes, Jason, this Florida State winning streak just continues. But right now we're at 30 likes. I don't know if Florida State's going to come away with the win now. Now I might change my prediction at the end of the show now. I don't know.
If we get to 70 likes, you have to tape yourself getting tackled by DJ Lundy at the next practice.
It might be filmed. If I do find the film for that, if someone does send that to me, then we will be playing that on air for sure. But it's got to be 75 likes minimum.
75 likes minimum. So smash that like button.
We're at 40. We're climbing.
Beautiful.
Hashtag Mike Norvell climb.
Really? No, but the point I was just making real quick is Florida State's in a position that I don't think they were prepared for. Florida State right now, you're 3-0. You could be 4-0 after Boston College. Then you have a 3-game stretch before the bye week of Wake Forest, NC State, and Clemson. Let's say you go 1-2 in that stretch. Let's say we beat Wake, lose to NC State, lose to Clemson, or lose to Wake, lose to Clemson, beat NC State. Whatever the combination you want to do. Let's say you're 1-2 and you're 5-2 at worst entering the bye week. All of a sudden, a lot of things are in play at that point because you come back after the bye week with a Georgia Tech team that Mark and I were talking about before the show. Right now, at this point, is god awful. So you could possibly be bowl eligible even before the end of October, before you make a trip to play Miami. All of a sudden, that Miami game, that Florida game, that Syracuse game, that Louisiana Lafayette game in November, that stretch in November, 4 games, you're playing with house money because you're already bowl eligible. Now you're just trying to improve your bowl stock. You can beat Miami for a second straight year. You can beat a Florida team that, I'm sorry, Florida does not look as good as they did in the opener of the season. A lot more things could come into play. So that's why it is so important that we baby Jordan at this rate. I'm sorry.
The only way to baby him is not put him out there starting on Saturday. And I don't know. I've just off of things, and we get the perks of being there. I want Tate Rodemaker starting on Saturday just to keep things safe and manageable. There's also some other guys that I would not like to see out there on Saturday. This is a big rest week for some guys, and it's running back room time. Time to put on another show. Like, you're not going to have like what they did against Duquesne, but Trey Benson should get clicking again. I thought his urgency there in the late quarters and the second half against Louisville, definitely in that fourth quarter, was impressive to me because he wasn't having a good start to that game. Things weren't clicking. He also didn't have a great game against LSU. He just couldn't find going north at all. Trayshawn Ward's been the only one this season, and a little bit of Toa Philly on the outside, but Trey Benson's kind of been 50-50 with a few things. He kind of hit a different gear there, and so you want to see these 3 running backs. I already know what I get out of Trayshawn Ward. I understand you're a new system. We're only 3 games in, but this is the 4th game now. Trey's got to get clicking here, and I don't know if that's understanding some of the holes that he needs to be hitting. I think the biggest thing with him, he knows that he can get off tackles, but you can't keep on running east and west doing that. You got to go north eventually, and you can do the same with getting defenders off of you. But I'd like to see those 3 have a big game and not have to rely so much on your passing attack. But, Tate showed us that he can go down there and drives, and why not start him? He's going home. He's at home. You're not on the road again. You're not a night game. It's not a primetime game. You're on the friggin' ACC network playing Boston College. You're at, like I just said, you're inside Doak. It should be comfortable for him. I'd like to see him out there before Jordan Travis if JT's not fully 100%.
It should be a comfortable win. If somebody would have told me before the season started, though, that BC would be a 16.5-point dog against Florida State, I would have been like, seriously? What's going on here? Not that BC's some giant, but they were supposed to have a good team this year, 7-8 wins, but they've looked like garbage. And Florida State's obviously taken off 16.5. I will caution everyone to a certain extent that we've had either 4 to 5 games each of the last 2 weeks where a double-digit dog, like a roughly 2-touchdown underdog, is won.
Basically, what Mark's trying to do right now is he's trying to give me more anxiety heading into Saturday 8 o'clock at night. That's exactly what he's happening.
Yeah.
Logan,
I sent a tweet the other day with all the double-digit underdogs that have won already this season. It's a lot of them.
Logan, another quick question for you on the defensive side of the ball, switching to the defense, because we talked about beforehand, we talked about the running game. I said last week, heading into the Louisville game, I wanted the running back game to step up. They did step up to an extent against Louisville. On the defensive side of the ball, and Big Game James Coleman, when he's been on there, has talked about the problem with facing running quarterbacks, facing Malik Cunningham, facing Jeff Sims, facing Anthony Richardson, those mobile quarterbacks. Florida State did struggle with Malik Cunningham. They did struggle a little bit on the defensive side of the ball. What do you need to see improve on the defensive side? Not so much for Boston College, but for that 3-game stretch coming up to start the month of October.
One thing, going to Jared Verse and Derek McLendon, those are where we start off at. Jared Verse is extremely talented, and we're not going to get that wrong right there. But like Coach JP has said, Florida State's defensive end coach and also special teams coordinator, he's still got a lot of coaching to get done. Like he still needs quite a bit, and there's things that he's got to work on to get better. And one of those biggest things is when it comes down to running quarterbacks, and it happened against LSU to start the game, and then eventually they figure it out in that second half, and really in that second quarter. Sometimes Jared Verse wants to do a lot of things and kind of save the plays or make the plays, but sometimes you just doing just a little thing here allows your teammate to come in and bring the linebacker down. There was times where Jared Verse was going too far on the inside and wasn't allowing the linebacker to hit the hole. So then that allowed Malik Cunningham to go on the outside and go for a gain. But then when Jared Verse went out, then you don't have a lot of experience there, and you're switching out Pat Payne, Leonard Warner. and also, of course, Derek McLendon. And so there's some things their defensive end group that I think can be worked on, and just understanding their assignments there. And you got to see too, Malik Cunningham going on the outside whenever you see Jared Verse crashing on the inside, and that doesn't allow your linebacker to understand, all right, that's my hole. You're supposed to be going on the outside to contain, to allow Malik Cunningham to come inside so Kane DeLoach can come crash and grab Malik. So there's just assignment issues there that I think need to be fixed. And, maybe missed tackles here and there, but I mean, Malik Cunningham is a very special talent at running the ball. And, Kalen almost came away with 2 sacks, 2 major tackle for losses too. Like, it was just almost there, but you're right. I mean, it was almost too easy at times. Like, Florida State's defense wasn't playing football, and that was something scary to see. And, you're relying on Jamie Robinson, your far back safety, to make the tackle to save the touchdown. He doesn't get the tackle. I mean, he grabs him, but of course that's going to be Malik Cunningham touchdown all day long when you're tackling him on the 2-yard line whenever he's already had a 15-yard, 20-yard start on you. So that comes down to the linebackers and whatever is going on there at defensive line, but the linebackers weren't there to be seen. So that's something that they're going to have to continue to look back at film. They won't have to worry about it this upcoming weekend with a whole different type of quarterback, but still that's a little worrisome, because whenever you go down the road and you are facing a guy like Anthony Richardson that is a talent that will run the ball, because he can't throw touchdowns, he is going to run the ball. You got to be worried about those kind of guys and contain.
We'll talk about BC in one moment and talk about their big dude of a quarterback, but I want you both, and this is Mark, I want you to help me on this one, and Logan, I want your help, because you both talked me down off the ledge before. Now, mind you, I have not watched a single Florida State field goal attempt since Wide Right won in 1991. Even when we were up 77-14 over Idaho in the 2013 season and went for a field goal, I have not watched it. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't watch field goal attempts. Ryan Fitzgerald is not helping the case. Ryan Fitzgerald came up with 2 misses against Louisville. He's missed kick against LSU and whatnot. And this is not just a problem this season. This is a problem he's had for a couple seasons. Mike Norvell is still sticking with him. Talk me down off the ledge every time he takes the field.
Well, the last 2 practices, he's only missed 1 field goal.
Oh, only 1. Got it. Okay, cool. With no fans, no pressure. Got it.
No, nothing at all. That's all you get right there. I don't know. I think for him, it's all mental. He came in as a recruit, one of the most talented kickers in the country. It's all mental for him. We kind of saw with Ricky Aguayo too. All the talent in the world, started off hot, and then something got to his head, and then it's all a mental game. And I think that's what's going around in the country, Mark. I mean, with all these kickers missing field goals, and that puts Florida State in a really tough spot. Mike Norvell stresses very, very hard on the special teams play, and Florida State, a few things that are hurting them right now, and it's only happened a few times, is punt with Alex, and then obviously field goal, like Jason just said. And Ryan's, it's just a mental thing for him. We've seen him nail these kicks from far. It's just, some of these kicks are just going far left, far right, and some of them almost feeling like shanks. It's just a thing. I know he's talented, and it just depends. You don't really have another kicker on scholarship, at least at the field goal position that you have. You have a walk-on. But right now, you got to stick with your scholarship player, and Mike Norvell is going to continue to ride with Ryan Fitzgerald. I know the fans were not so happy to hear that on Monday, but it's a thing that the staff is going to continue to go with, and we'll hope that he'll get a chance to break off whatever that kind of bad juju is on him inside Doak on Saturday.
Mark is not helping my case right now, so I'm just not looking at the screen.
Just managing the show, just trying to provide a little information to the folks.
Right, well, let me know when the bad stuff's off, Logan, please.
You're safe.
That's good now.
Oh,
don't look.
God. Okay. Logan, let's talk a little bit. Let's talk as little as humanly possible about Boston College. Obviously, they come in 1-2 of the season, lost a shocker in the opening game to Rutgers, the Fighting State University of New Jersey Scarlet Knights. They get beat in Game 2 against Virginia Tech, but then a big win last week over the Maine Black Bears. So they come into the game at least a little bit confident, knowing that they won't end the season 0-12. Talk a little about the quarterback, Phil Dracovic. I mean, he went 25-37, threw for 320 and 2 touchdowns. We saw him a little bit. What is Florida State's defense going to see against him come Saturday night?
a guy that can stand in the pocket, that can take hits. It feels exactly like Big Ben to me. And I know Big Ben very well. As we know, it's also been a very hard time for me seeing not number 7 out there on Sundays, and it's obviously hurting our team. Won't talk about that too much more. We have nobody at quarterback.
Really?
But we have nobody.
Really? We were up 35-14 on Tua, and Tua came back, so let's calm down.
At least y'all can score. I can't. I have no quarterback. I have no quarterback right now. So I do not.
Mitch Trubisky.
No, I don't have a quarterback. I don't have a quarterback yet. But yeah, with him, he can take hits. The thing what Florida State has got to do better than they've done in years past with him, you got to be able to tackle and bring him down, and it should be easy. We got to go for the legs. I'm not going to try to I can snap him or anything, but you've got to go for the legs and get the tackle on him. That's something I hope that Florida State throughout practices, they were doing quite a bit of it this week with coming and crashing down on the quarterback and making sure you're wrapping up well. But, Phil, he can throw the ball. Flowers is a really talented player, one of the most talented in the ACC, one of the top in the country, really talented player. But Florida State, the number one thing is to get over there and get to Phil. I'm not too stressed about his start to the season. I think a lot of people, at least on the offseason, were thinking he'd have a better start than he has. Everybody feels that way, but Florida State's just got to take care of business and get to the quarterback. Look for Pat Payton and also Derek McLendon. Derek McLendon has got to step up here and show how much he's been working this offseason. And, he's got to show that veteran presence and get back there to Phil. And I'd like to see a few blitz packages, bringing in Brendan Gann, who I thought whenever he's gotten snaps, he had 10 last weekend. I think he's going to get more from what Adam Fuller told us. Brendan Gant's going to play a lot more. Also, great player in special teams. I'd like to see Brendan Gant come in along with Jamie. I'd like to see a little bit of blitz packages coming off and kind of make him feel uneasy to start off this game in the first quarter. That'd be my game plan for him. But what do you think? How's the defense gonna bounce back? Because that was not a pretty performance in Louisville.
It wasn't. And here's what I will say. And I said this on the post-game show presented by Popeyes, that yes, it's gonna be. I'm sorry, Mark. This is what's happening.
Now you better go find it now. You better go get it now.
I'm good with that. I'm good with that.
Shout out to Logan's Cat for joining us here for the end of the show here. I'm happy the way that the FSU played because, and we've talked about this, over the last 6 seasons, Florida State loses that game. The last 6 seasons, Florida State loses any game where you're down by a touchdown, especially in the second half. So I'm happy about that. What I want to see from the defense is, and we talked about this, you're going into this 3-game stretch coming up, and I harp on it, this 3-game stretch of Wake Forest, NC State, and Clemson, that Florida State likely, at this point, will be an underdog in all 3 of those games. Yeah. You have to come in and just, I'm talking about foot on the gas, and this is another reason why I'm torn about should we start Jordan Travis. Florida State has to come in and make a statement. Not just can we beat Boston College for the 3rd time, 18, 19, 21. So it'll be for the 4th straight time. It's not just about beating Boston College for a 4th straight time. It's about making a name. It's about the fact of there's only 4 teams in college football in the FBS right now that have beaten 2 Power 5 teams. Florida State's one of them, and Florida State's also not ranked. It's about we have to come into that 3-game stretch with as much confidence as possible. And last season's game against Boston College worried me. Florida State jumped out to a bigger lead. Boston College came back and almost won that game in the 4th quarter. So that's why I need to see from the defense. I agree with you. I need multiple sacks. I need a huge halftime lead. I need something where we can get a huge halftime lead, put Tate in, and coast from this point on. That's my concern right now with this team. Not so much an individual, it's got to be the linebacker group. It's got to be the defensive group. I just need the defense to come out pants on fire, just kill. One mindset, kill. Not actual kill because it's still illegal in Florida, but
so illegal.
Still slightly. I don't know what DeSantis is going to do next, but I think that's.
Yeah, interior defensive line's got to play better too. It showed with Fabian Levin not being available that it hurts a lot. So I got to see it. I got to see better play too from Robert Cooper. Man, come on, we got to get something going. I know that sometimes they put 2 offensive linemen on him and whatnot, but if that's the case, and then he's doing his job. Someone's got to step up on the other side, and I was definitely not so impressed. I thought Jared Jackson would have a better game, in my opinion, than he did at Louisville. And someone in that interior's got to step up. And we're not going to probably see Fabian Lovett again this upcoming weekend. So who's going to step up there in that interior defensive line? Because were you really relying that heavy on Fabian Lovett? Yeah, Fabian Lovett's a NFL caliber player. Yeah, he's going to get drafted in this upcoming draft. But man, where the hell was the interior defensive line on Saturday night for Florida State?
Whoa.
Sorry, Odell Hagen. Sorry.
Whoa.
Well, he would say the same thing. He would say the same thing.
Do not defame the greatest interim coach in Florida State football history, Odell Hagens.
I would never do that. I would never. No. But I think he would agree with me. He would probably not be so pleased.
So, Logan, what are your keys? Give me your keys to victory for Florida State against a 16.5-point underdog Boston College.
Yeah, that's crazy. I think the keys is going to be Florida State's rushing game will be number one for me, in my opinion. The rushing game part of things with getting, like we talked about earlier, let's get Benson going. Let's get him back into a groove. And then, you throw in Trayshawn Ward in there, Lawrence Stowe-Philly. Get that going. And that's about all you need from offense, because if you have Rodemaker in there, I don't think he needs to do too much. Of course, Norvell is going to throw some explosive plays in there, here and there, but rushing game and offensive line blocking. And then on the defensive side, I'm looking at Derek McLendon. I want a big game out of DMAC this upcoming game, and I think getting to Phil and maybe allowing, like I said, Gant and Jamie to come down and throw some blitz packages at him would be nice to kind of deter him, because they kind of rattled him when they faced Florida State last year up there in Boston. I mean, they got up there to him. Jermaine Johnson and Keir Thomas. Those two guys aren't here anymore, but someone's got to get to them, and who's going to do that this Saturday? And I'm looking at DMAC to have a game, and I've been high on Pat Payton, but he has the potential to start this upcoming weekend for Florida State. So now it's time, man. Pat Payton had a big surgence in the spring, and now he gets his chance. So look for Derek McLendon primarily, and Pat Payton to maybe start getting some attention from some FSU fans. Like, hey, there's 56.
For me, on the defensive side of the ball, I need them to have a long memory. We talk a lot in football about having a short memory, forgetting about the previous mistake, giving up the previous touchdown, and focusing on the next drive. I want Florida State's defense to remember how close last year got, how close Florida State got to blowing a big lead against Boston College on the road at Chestnut Hill. I want the defense, I want those guys who were there, a part of that defense last year, to remember that and take it out on Boston College this year. I'm talking about, I want sacks, I want interceptions. I'm getting greedy. I'm going to get greedy in this one. I want a defensive, damn the torpedoes, let's just get this party started. On the offensive side of the ball, whether it's Jordan starting the game, whether it's Tate starting the game, you look at the LSU game, and you look like Jordan Travis had a favorite receiver in Ontario Wilson. You look at the Louisville game, it looked like Tate Rodemaker had a favorite wide receiver in Johnny Wilson. I need there to be one wide receiver that, whether it's Jordan or whether it's Tate starting, that they can count on. Whether it's Johnny with Tate, whether it's Ontario, whether it's somebody to come in. I need one receiver in this game to make that big catch early, to get that confidence early, so that either Jordan or Tate, whoever's starting, knows, okay, that's my guy I can go to for this game. I also need the Cat to get out of your shot. The Cat is hogging the spotlight. Now he muted your camera. Now he muted you, Logan.
Did you get your keys?
No, he hit your keys.
Did you? I got my keys.
There you go. I got my keys. They're right over there.
Yep. Got my keys for it. But yeah, it should be a fun game. 8:00 late at night. Can't wait. Can't wait to do that and then drive to Tampa in the morning.
You're actually going to do that?
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, we can give it a shot and see what's going on down there with Brady versus Rogers for the last time.
Gross.
See what happens.
Gross.
But ACC Network, 8:00, man. We love a good ACC Network.
Followed by lacrosse between Syracuse and Boston College. Mm-hmm. Or Syracuse and Louisville, or field hockey between Pitt and Virginia or something.
Yeah, I kind of don't think so. They might have a football wrap-up show.
And then lacrosse.
Shot in the dark.
and then lacrosse.
Yeah. You'll get your lacrosse at 1 a.m. Sure.
Why not?
With that.
Why?
Brady and Rogers, huh? I didn't know that.
Any questions in the chat tonight? Everybody?
1 p.m. Not really. Nothing there. They're arguing about Miami. Basically, what's going on?
What's new?
I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand why they would be upset. Miami played the greatest offensive game of the season last week. I mean, they didn't get into the end zone, but they played the greatest offensive season. I mean, we should all be afraid, right? This is an important game for Miami. I will admit, this is an important game for Miami because if Miami comes out sluggish, beware for the ACC season. But if Miami comes out, damn the torpedo style, then they'll be okay. So,
then they'll survive.
They will.
I can't really think that Middle Tennessee's an important game for Miami, regardless whether they just kind of sleepwalk through a 10-point win or they win by 50.
Hey, stranger things have happened.
Sure. I'm not saying that it's impossible that they lose. I just don't think it's an important game. If this is an important game for Miami, then every game's important.
You know what's important? Logan's pick.
Prediction time. I've got Florida State 34-17. That's all that needs to be said. Nothing else. Nothing else about it. 8 o'clock kickoff. Make sure. We're getting close to a sold-out Doak. It feels like. Almost feels like how it used to be. Also, EJ Manuel, the ACC network will be in town, though. They're going to be down there on the field and everything, so everybody get amped up for that. But, we don't want to make too much fun of the ACC network. Our guy, EJ Manuel, is on there, who's doing a great job this season. I think EJ's got a great future and being an analyst and covering college football or wherever it is, even in the NFL. But EJ Manuel will be there to see Florida State win 34-17 on Saturday night.
Hopefully he comes and joins the Big Ten network once we leave the ACC.
Big Ten.
Last week, I said I was worried about Louisville. And I was told by Logan I was crazy. I was told by multiple Florida State people I work with, you're crazy. We're gonna
Whoa, I did not say you're crazy.
Hold on.
Making up stuff, Mark. Look at him.
I was told we were going to wallop Louisville. And then we were literally sitting there with less than a minute to go, worried that Louisville was going to come down and score the winning touchdown. For that reason, I think my worry was justified against Louisville. That being said, I'm not as worried about Boston College. I do have concerns that Florida State can come in and look lethargic against a BC Eagles team who right now looks like they have nothing to lose at this rate, because if they get killed, that's what was supposed to happen. They could also come in and pull off the upset. But I'm going to say Florida State 31, Boston College 14. I think it's going to be a Jordan Travis starts the game. Florida State gets out to a comfortable lead, maybe like 21-7 or something, and then says, all right, Tate, you take it from here. So I'm going to say 31-14. So that means when the final score is 27-24 and I'm freaking out, hyperventilating, you'll know what happened.
I hope so.
What, you want me to hyperventilate?
Well, only if you're on live here. Maybe get some clicks,
I could do it. That would be good. Cut that.
16.5. I'll have to think that one over. That's a pretty good line.
I feel like Mark's going to take Boston College.
It's a pretty good line. No, I'm saying it's a pretty good line. I think it's right there.
The boldest pick I made there was Ryan Fitzgerald making a field goal. I think that was the boldest pick that I made.
Might be onto something.
What, he actually knows how to kick
1 out of 4, maybe.
Hey. Yeah.
All right, Jason, where can we find you?
You can find me on NBCMiami.com. We will have Hakeem Williams' commitment covered for you on Friday at 1:30 from Strahan High School here in Fort Lauderdale. We'll also have a complete preview of all the games this week. Knowles, Eagles, Gators, Vols, go Rocky Top. Canes, Middle Tennessee State, go Blue Raiders. Dolphins, Bills, FIU, Western Kentucky, for the 2 fans that care about that game. So we'll have you completely covered with all the football action this weekend.
Okay. How's that Discord looking?
God.
Well, that's easy then. Dang, Mark, we should just do that more often.
Yeah, we should. If
that's what it results in.
It's usually just an eye roll, but if it completely gets him off the screen, yeah, I'm going to put that in my hip pocket.
Yeah, might work. I might have to work more. But yeah, Make sure in the Discord, free to join. It's been adding up now that Florida State's winning. Funny how that works, but make sure in the Discord, it's free to join. And we're in there talking every college football game imaginable, including practices from today, Nuggets, recruiting scoop. Dustin dropped his Hakeem Williams commitment prediction just a couple hours ago. So
What'd he say?
he was can't say. Gotta get in the Discord.
Oh.
Gotta get in the Discord. Yeah, gotta get in the Discord and then become a Patreon. And then we're going live tonight in about an hour at 8 o'clock, previewing our last thoughts on Louisville. We'll talk Jordan Travis, Tate Rodemaker. We'll talk practices, what we saw this week.
Practice.
Yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday practices.
We're talking practice?
Oh yeah.
Not the game.
There were multiple injuries, so we got to see who was practicing and who wasn't. And then we'll talk Blake Nicholson, Hakeem Williams, and then we'll do game preview and score predictions. We won't spend too much of a crazy time on Boston College tonight.
How many likes did we get?
Jason, see, that's what the Discord. That's what a Discord looks like right there, Jason.
Gross. God, that's gross.
Gorgeous.
Ugh.
Delicious.
It's almost as gross as listening to Miami fans talk about how the U is back. It's almost that gross.
Voice of College Football Discord as well. But Florida State fans, you got to get on the Knoll Game Day Discord for sure.
Get in there.
There it
Get
is.
in there. I see her right down there below yours. It's hanging in there. It's one of the first ones you've joined.
Absolutely. It's the only one I've joined.
Oh, heck yeah.
It's the only one.
How many likes are we at, Logan?
Not enough, probably. 72.
Come on, 3 more likes, people. Just 3 more likes so that we can get him tackled by DJ Lundy. Please.
I already did, but it just wasn't on video. Well,
No,
we don't have a video yet.
Videotaped. Come on, 3 more people. Please.
Dennis Wilson said, Jason, FSU season is over, sir.
I think we're undefeated. I'm not sure.
Hmm.
Yeah, wait, hold on. We are.
Make sure you tell Dennis.
We
there.
are. Our season is over. No, see, Dennis, sorry. There's 9 more games in the season.
Yeah.
So,
Dennis, you can find these things out on the internet. They're easily accessible. You can look them up.
You type in Miami. No, because he's a Miami fan, so I don't think the internet was around when the last time Miami was relevant. So yeah, that's where we're at.
All right, folks. Speaking of, we're headed right over to start our Miami show right here at the Voice of College Football. We keep rolling. It's been quite the day. We've been rolling since 10 a.m. And next week, we'll hopefully get a Wake Forest guy on here to our guy, Tony Siracusa, to talk some Wake Forest, set up that game for us. So,
go. You can't spell excuse without the U, so go listen to Miami show for an hour.
That's it. Click on over. We'll see you then. Then you catch Logan later tonight, right?
8 o'clock, baby. Let's ride.
Right now. Okay.
And in the Discord.
Thanks, guys. And Discord.